Hello there, grumpy old fart here. I'm trying to put some videos out here to help out young dungeon masters, newer dungeon masters, and some of the things that people aren't aware of in the game, the dungeon master needs to be aware of. So I'm trying to give you some advice, and this is how I do things, and it makes it try to make it a little easier for you. As far as Dungeons and Dragons goes, there are many magic items available for the dungeon master to assign to specific treasure hoards that his players can find. And I did a video last week called Magic Items, Treasure, Magic Items. Go check that out, because you don't want to assign too much. But out of all these lists of different magical items that you can put in there, if what you want is not on that list, you can feel free to create an item, however you want. They have what's called a helm of teleportation. Generally in my game, they have rings of teleportation. Makes it a little easier. But, and also keep in mind, you can only wear 2 rings, one on each hand, magical. Otherwise, the rings don't function. Okay. Any dungeon master would be hard pressed. It doesn't matter what kind of magic item you want to put in the game. If you want to give the players a very useful item, any dungeon master would be hard pressed to create a more useful magic item for a fighter, any kind of a fighter type, than his in your game. You'd be hard pressed to find a better one, a more useful one than a Rod of Lordly Might. It's on page 133 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, and this is just one of the best weapons and items that you can get in the game. I've seen player characters kill each other over it, trying to, I want it, no, I got it first, no, and one guy dies and the other guy gets it, This item it's called a Rod of Lordly Might. It is a multi-function item. It's essentially the Swiss Army knives of the AD&D world, and it is, here we go, it's a rod with a little knob at the end, and just as it is, it functions as a +2 mace. There's a number of different weapons, different buttons that do different functions. It extends a blade out to become a +1 sword of flame, a flaming sword. Another button, pops out a battle axe. It's a switchblade battle axe. Another button extends it out and it becomes a +3 spear. There's other spell-like functions. It causes paralyzation. It causes fear. One great function of this is it drains hit points from an opponent by touch. So you touch them with it, and it drains their hit points and gives them to you, kind of like the vampiric transfer kind of thing. It transfers hit points from the victim that got touched to the wielder that did the touching. So it's quite useful. It becomes a climbing pole. You hit a button and it extends out and becomes a climbing pole. And according to the book, if you got a door here or the wall opposite it, you put the thing against this wall and hit the button and it'll knock that door open. A great little door opener. And according to the book, it has the equivalent strength in that aspect, same strength as a storm giant, strength of 24. That's pretty damn nasty. It also becomes a compass. It acts as a compass and a depth meter, so it can tell you how deep you are roughly, approximately, underground, which is very useful in a lot of gaming. Okay. There are some downsides to this thing. First off, it cannot be recharged. But and because some of the functions, the paralyzation and the fear like that, they require charges. The rod cannot be recharged, but the mace, the spear, hang on, my page got folded. The mace, the spear, the climbing pole, the compass, the depth meter, they all work forever. You got to go to page 133 and read it in the Dungeon Master's Guide to understand it completely. These items, the Rods of Lordly Might, are so very useful that I highly recommend you make these exceedingly rare in your campaign. Like I said, they're such a useful item, and they're so great to have. I've had player characters kill each other trying to, I want it, no, I want it, no, I get it. Boom, boom, boom. One guy dies, the other guy gets it. Him's the breaks. But, and it's going to sound bad in that respect, you cannot stop the player characters, because ethically one could conceivably kill the other for it. At any rate, I hope that this video is useful for all you fledgling dungeon masters out there, and even for the newer ones, for the ones not so fledgling. And again, I'm not saying that any of these videos that I do use something you have to do. No, I'm giving you ideas and options to make your game more enjoyable. And I hope it helps. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.